So I got a ransom in the back. A bagman's coming.
Yeah.
Just remember the number one rule, right?
Never trust a bagman.
Never trust a bagman.
Never trust a bagman.
They're gonna schmooze you. They're gonna pay for a couple cups of coffee.
They are.
And I'm poor, and I'm gonna probably want those cups of coffee.
You are poor.
In the end. Thanks for bringing that up again.
No problem.
Thanks. In the end, you can't trust a bagman.
You can't.
One day though,
especially when they look as handsome as James Caan.
Hey, he's gonna put a pillow over my face, and I'm just gonna hear a pop, and that's gonna be it.
Interesting.
This is way of the gun.
Could have gone either way with that pillow over your face.
Ladies and gentlemen, please notice that exits are conveniently located at the front and rear of this auditorium. When leaving the theater, we suggest that the exit at the front of the auditorium will allow you easier access to the parking areas. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Mike Phillippe.
I'm Mike Butler.
And this is Forgotten Cinema. Each episode, we highlight a film that, for a variety of reasons, was forgotten by audiences. Whether a more popular movie was released at the same time as this film, or this film simply didn't catch on the audience its initial run. This is like the fourth take. We talk about what we love about the movie, or perhaps don't love about it, but we always recommend you revisit it. All that forgotten gem nonsense. If you like what we're talking about, or I don't know, maybe you hate watch us, we'd love to hear from you. We're on, obviously, YouTube. We're also on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Reddit. We are on Patreon if you're a member, or and everywhere
free
else.
or paid.
We've spread ourselves way too thin. We have also a backlog of over 300 episodes that you can go back and check out for your listening and viewing pleasure. And I stumbled through that, so yeah, that was terrible. That was just bad. Mike, what's going on?
Oh, nothing much. I have no scruples, no morals. It's either get a minimum wage job or turn to a life of crime. And I ain't grinding. I ain't going back to the grind. So, or that might be the next movie we're doing. You know what? The grind is from the next movie we're doing.
Combining films.
Same thing. Same kind of concept.
Welcome to the way of the rounders.
I have no scruples. I don't have a job. I just do what I can to get by. The rule is survive. You sell your blood, you sell other body fluids, and you commit crimes when you can.
Can you not say these body fluids on YouTube?
I didn't know what I wanted to say. I didn't want to be gross. I just do. But now an opportunity. I was at a sperm bank donating my little guys for some extra cash when I heard about some lady who got artificially inseminated for $1 million to have some rich guy's baby. And I'm going to take that woman with her unborn child. I'm going to hold her kidnapped or hostage for ransom money. And I'm going to make some money off of this lady. And I really don't care what happens to her or the baby or my partner or anybody else who gets in my way. Cause I'm gonna kill a lot of people.
Yep.
Yeah. Cause that's the way of the gun.
It is the way of the gun.
Guess.
That's a sniper term, but yes, right. That's a term for snipers, like the way of the gun.
I mean, they used it in his.
No, you're right.
Later,
yeah. So obviously we're doing the 2000 film Way of the Gun. So let's get into the facts and then we'll get into our discussion. Way of the Gun has a runtime of 119 minutes. It's rated R, production budget of $8.5 million. Came out on September 8th, 2000. That was a Friday. Its opening weekend, it did $2.2 million. Domestic take was 6, international was 7, for a worldwide total of $13 million. Production company was Artisan Entertainment, and they also distributed it. Ooh. Remember Artisan? This film came out on the 8th, so let's go back to September 1st for a wide release of Whipped, the Amanda Peet independent film. Highlander Endgame, always a classic.
I saw that.
What, is that the guy from the show too?
Yeah.
Is that what that is?
Yeah.
Okay.
It kind of wraps up the show.
Okay.
Which is why I watched it. Because whenever I was sick from school, I'd turn on the Sci-Fi Channel. They'd always have a different marathon every day. Mm-hmm. So there'd be a lot of Highlander marathons. It wasn't the greatest show, but they had swords that sparked, and that's kind of dope.
You also had a wide release of Saving Grace that weekend. The weekend that this film came out, it went up against a wide release, The Watcher, Nurse Betty, and Turn It Up. And then the week after, the 15th, you had a wide release of Bait and a limited release of Almost Famous, which was in 131 theaters at then. So yes,
I didn't realize Nurse Betty was that old.
Yeah, it is.
Wow,
it is. It was in when it was obviously Renee Zellweger was Jerry Maguire, and then she did a ton of movies, and that was one of the next big ones of her. It's good. I remember liking it, but it doesn't seem to have a lot of
staying power.
Yeah. Not a lot of people talk about it. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe just I mean, it'd probably be a good one for the show.
Adding it to the list as I edit this.
I did remember I liked it, but I can't. It's not one of those films that if we watched it again, I'm not confident I'd still like it because I just don't remember.
I remember watching it, and if I watched it, I'd be like, I remember that scene, but I don't remember if I think I ended up walking at it, like not walking at it, but I probably saw it on TV, but I probably remember liking it because if I stuck with it, it was probably decent.
All right. This film is written and directed by Christopher McQuarrie. You probably know him as a director.
I love the fact that it's written because we know he doesn't like to write anymore when he directs.
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, he wrote Usual Suspects, which he won an Oscar for,
which is great.
He also was nominated for an Oscar for Top Gun Maverick. He wrote that as well. He's directed Mission Impossibles 5 through 8,
which he didn't write.
And Jack Reacher as well. His cinematographer was Dick Pope on this. He is nominated for an Oscar, 2 Oscars, one for Mr. Turner and the other for The Illusionist. And he's also done Secrets and Lies. That's for Butler there, the inside joke. Composer was Joe Kramer, who's done Mission Impossible 5 and Jack Reacher. Edited by Steven Semel, who's done a ton of episodes for Lost and the movie The Count of Monte Cristo, the one from the early 2000s with
the one with the really good sword fighting
with Guy Pearce, right?
I believe so.
Yeah. Not Fiennes. Is it Joseph Fiennes? No.
I still have to watch it.
Really?
I studied the fight scenes from my fight instructor when I took my fight class in college. That was like one of the things that he was like, we're trying to break down what fights to study in my class. And like that was one of the ones we agreed upon.
Rob Roy too?
But I never saw the actual thing.
Was Rob Roy?
We discussed Rob Roy and we enacted some of the Rob Roy stuff, but we didn't actually watch Rob Roy, which was weird. Just The Count of Monte Cristo.
Not Rob Roy. Yeah, no, Rob Roy. You're right. That's right, Mike.
Yeah.
Good job, Mike. Yeah. All right. This film has Ryan. Is it Phillippe? We always do this.
I think it's
Phillippe.
Phillippe.
Brian Phillippe. That's not how you say your last name. I'm sorry.
Sorry, dude.
It's Butler's fault. He plays Mr. Parker. That's who he tells you to call him. He does the voiceover, which we'll get to. He's in Crash, Gosford Park, Cruel Intentions, MacGruber.
The movie we did.
There you go. Benicio del Toro as his partner, as Harold Longbow. He's won an Oscar for Traffic. He was nominated for 21 Grams. He's also in Sicario and The Usual Suspects.
Sicario is awesome.
Yep. I was going to say, like, we did that movie, but like,
it's not on our list. I think on our audience choice.
I just don't think it's forgotten because everyone knows it.
I don't think enough people talk, but I don't know.
Maybe a younger crowd, but it's so good. Anyway.
I think it definitely launched. What's his face's career? The director.
Denis Villeneuve.
Yeah.
Villeneuve.
But I don't think a lot of people kind of like discuss the film. Like I think it's just kind of like, oh yeah.
I always see the meme with Emily Blunt when she goes out and everything blows up. That whole meme.
Is that a meme?
Yeah.
I've not seen that meme.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
It's got a great last scene when he approaches them at dinner.
And also the scene when they're in the truck, and obviously the scene when they're in the car.
The bridge fight. That's awesome.
Yep. Juliette Lewis is Robin, the woman who was impregnated, the surrogate. She's nominated for an Oscar for Cape Fear. She's also in Natural Born Killers, which I put on the list, and From Dusk Till Dawn. Taye Diggs as Jeffers. He's one of the guys assigned to protect her, along with Nikki Katz's character, Obex. Taye Diggs is in Rent, Equilibrium, Chicago, and House on Haunted Hill. And Nikki Katz is in Dazed and Confused, Sin City, Boiler Room, and Insomnia. Jeffrey Lewis is Abner Mercer. I did not realize he was Juliette Lewis's father.
In real life?
Yeah, in real life. He plays like Abner's an old hitman that
doesn't want to live anymore.
Yeah, exactly. He's in The Devil's Rejects and Night of the Comet.
The movie we did.
There you go. Then you have like the doctor, that Dylan Cussman as the Alan Painter is the doctor who was kind of attending to Robin, who's also the son of our main bad guy. He's in Jack Reacher and Dead Poet Society. Our main bad guy is played by Scott Wilson, who plays Hale Chittick. He's from The Walking Dead, the TV show, Clay Pigeons.
That movie we did a long time ago.
Exactly. He's also in the original. Was Clay Pigeons season 5? Was that a season 5?
If
Audience choice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it was the first episode of Audience Choice.
First episode?
I believe so.
Oh, all right. Scott Wilson's also in the original In Cold Blood in 1967. And then you have James Caan. Is as Joe Sarno, our bagman, who's obviously nominated for the Godfather, Thief.
The movie we did. And I really like.
Yeah, Rollerball and Misery. And yeah, so that's our cast. Let's get into the movie. Butler, have you seen this film before?
No, I had heard of it, but I've never seen it.
Awesome. I have seen it. I remember I liked it when I first saw it, and then I have a much different opinion now. But let's start with you.
Well, if I watched this movie in 2000 or when I was like in high school, I would have thought this was one of the greatest movies of all time.
Gotcha.
I would have absolutely loved this movie. As it stands, I really like this movie, and I like what Christopher McQuarrie says about this movie.
Yeah,
like he's like, I like this movie. It's a good movie, but it's got a lot of flaws.
Yeah.
And he admits it. And he admits like kind of where the flaws are.
The quote is, I'm very proud of the film. Is the film flawed? It is uneven. Is it uneven? Certainly, but it's sincere.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good stuff in this film. I think the gunfights are awesome. The way that that Parker and
Longbow. So those names too have
are the Butch Cassidy and the Sundance
They're
Kid.
real names. Yeah.
But Longbow and Parker, like their relationship and the way they communicate when they're doing a job is awesome. It's professional. It's well done. It's not dumb. They don't really make those action movies mistakes for the most part until like maybe toward the end, where it's like, oh, come on. Like they're very smart about what they do, and it's refreshing to see that. Mm-hmm. And they're straight up bad guys, which is also refreshing to see. Like they are kind of like Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, but they're not trying to make them heroes, which Butch Cassidy kind of does. I will say the voiceover is dumb. I don't like Ryan Phillippe's like accent, his voice he's trying to do. I don't.
Is he doing a voice? I think that's just him.
He's doing a little bit of he's trying to be a little more street, I think, than normal. Yeah, but he does have a little bit of that kind of like.
But he has that. He always sounds the same to me because he sounds the same as he was in I Know What You Did Last Summer, and then he's the same, and he's in Cruel Intentions. He's got that same, even in the movie we did.
MacGruber?
Igby Goes Down.
Oh, Igby.
I think he always has that same. That's the way he talks.
Yeah, well, he definitely has that kind of a little bit.
I mean, you can catch on to those accents more than I can.
I think he's trying to put on a little bit of something. But I think a lot of it really works, and James Caan stuff is awesome. Yeah, like obviously James Caan is amazing, and he's just so good in this. Like he's just that is an actor at the not the end of his career, but at like later on in his career that just is so comfortable in making his character and acting and performing and just stealing every scene he's in. He's awesome in this film. But the writing has issues. I don't know if the themes are strong enough. And as much as I like the opening sequence, I think that's very like, hey, look at me. I'm just starting out as a filmmaker. Let me make something kind of like
did you read
punchy.
Did you read about the opening sequence? Like what it was supposed to be?
That it's like supposed to be like an opening scene is just a teaser trailer, basically.
Well, they shot it. It was supposed to be a trailer for the movie.
Yeah.
And for those who don't know, you're talking about the scene with Sarah Silverman when she's yelling at them, they get into a fight and they punch her, which I love this.
There's a lot of dialogue we just can't repeat. It was going to be the opening for this.
I'll say it. But it's a great scene. But it's also meant to show, because an executive, or they were saying like, what's their backstory? He's like, there's no need for a backstory. These characters don't need a backstory. He's not saying true. There's no need for a backstory for
other characters
stuff in all movies, but so he was saying like it was just such an insignificant scene in the movie that he wanted to put it in there. I actually like how it opens because
I think it lets you know the characters pretty well.
Right.
Yeah.
It lets you know like they don't care. They're like, if there's no purpose, they're just getting into a fight. They think it's funny.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And, he gets he punches Sarah Silverman. He actually punches her in real life.
And he kept apologizing for an entire week.
Yeah, because he knocked her out.
Yeah, knocked her right out.
So that's unfortunate, but it was funny. Just a funny kind of like anecdote. So to your point, see, you said there's some problems with the writing, but when you're talking about James Caan, I'm thinking that what I think is that he's given a lot of stuff to work with. Like, I don't think
I think some of the writing is superb. Yeah. I think some of the writing is fantastic. And then some of the writing is just like, I think the saying is really cool. Let me put the saying is.
Okay.
So while I don't think all the writing's bad, I think some of the writing is very like, look at me, look at what I could write.
Right.
Which back in 2000 I would have loved. And now I'm like, that's not really, people wouldn't talk like that. Well, but there's some stuff that's really great and there's some great lines. But all of James Caan stuff is awesome.
The stuff in the bar. When he buys them the coffee, I guess that's not really a bar; it's a cafe,
right?
Even like the smaller scenes with Chittick, especially at the end when he talks about I have the quote here when he talks about karma, and he's like, "Karma is only justice without satisfaction." I don't believe in justice, like that whole thing,
right? Yep.
I don't want to jump to the end, but like, let me ask you what is at the end of the film. Our leads, I'm not saying our heroes, but our leads are lying there after getting shot up. They're still alive. I know the indications that they're going to be dying of their wounds. That's fine.
Yeah.
But he takes the money, gets in the ambulance. What's happening there? Is he walking off with the money and disappearing? Is that what's happening in that scene?
I think so.
Okay.
I think he's going to say, they took the money, man.
Or he's not going to say anything. He's just going to walk away. They're never going to find him again. Like, why would he go back to Chittick? He doesn't need to.
True, because you can't get the baby back.
Plus, does he work for Chittick or does he work for Chittick's boss or boss?
No, I think he works for Chittick because he's like, whose money is this? And Chittick's like the worst one.
Yeah.
So James Caan's character doesn't know whose money it was.
Gotcha.
But yeah, no, you're right. He's not going to go back because he's not going to give up his daughter and his new grandson. And that's not even a Chittick's baby. He's taking that money and they're staying in Mexico.
Right. Because the whole plan but see, he doesn't find out that it's not Chittick's kid until they tell him at the end.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, but his intent always was just to take the money and walk off of it. You think?
I think once he saw his daughter, his intent was, I'm going to save my daughter. Yeah. I think that changed his mind. Mm-hmm. And that's why he collapses against the wall and he's like, crap. All right. Yeah.
I mean, and that goes to his conversation with, I think it's the first time they meet, obviously at the payphone. No, when they go in the cafe, he tells him that he's a survivor. You know, you see an old man like me in this game. It's because I'm a survivor. That kind of thing.
Oh, it's at the payphone. It's before they go into the cafe. Yeah.
So you have that.
There's one thing you can. No, he doesn't tell. He tells it's Tay Diggs. He tells that.
Oh, Jeffers. Okay.
Yeah. When he's not even Tay Diggs, the other guy when he steps up at him.
Obex.
When he steps up at him in the room.
In the interrogation.
You know, the one thing you got to realize about an old timer is they're survivors. Yeah. There's a reason they made it this far. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. But I think that it changes his mind when he sees Robin and he's like, all right. And I think the line at the end, oh my God, Benicio del Toro's character's name. Longbow. I keep thinking like Thurlby. I don't know why.
Longbow. A third.
Longbow. Maybe. Longbow's like one day, because they talk about the one day with the pillow over your head and the pop that I brought up at the beginning. I think that's also in reference to now his character. That now James Caan one day is going to have that pillow over his head with the pop because it's the only way out. He's got to take his daughter and run, and eventually another bagman is going to find him.
Yeah. And then they have the tag at the end where the wife tells Chittick, "I'm pregnant," but it's obviously not his.
It's clearly Tay Diggs. Yeah. Jeffers' character,
which is going to be like, well, okay, what's that mean?
I think he's going to be able to tell. I think there's going to be a little bit of a tell there.
So speaking of the writing, I want to go back to the note. I want to go to the note that Del Toro seemed to have an active presence in a lot of the stuff that's happening in the film.
Oh yeah.
He cut all his dialogue, basically telling him he wanted to be less is more. So McQuarrie cut a lot of that stuff. The scene where they're being chased in the car chase scene. He saw
a lot of Benicio del Toro, which is awesome. The car chase is so dumb. They're out there and they're both like with their feet, like getting ready to jump out at any time. I'm like, this is so stupid.
Yeah. When I saw that, and I was like, is this like something like is everybody does this? Like, is this just something they learned or so? I thought that was interesting. What do you think about his kind of input into the script?
At first I was like, wow, it's like almost like bullying. Like, is he that big of a star? But he was also in Usual Suspects before this.
And he knows him.
So he knows him. They know each other. So he must trust his instincts and just been like, yes, that's a good idea.
Yeah. Well, the genesis of this movie. So like McQuarrie talks about, I don't think I copied the note. But I remember it. He talks about after he won the Oscar for Usual Suspects, he took a bunch of meetings in Hollywood and he discovered that they don't want you to make your movie. They want you to make their movie. So he had a hard time kind of, getting anything going for his movies. Right. He did a lot of script doctoring, which a lot of stuff that he was getting paid to not have his name on credits, that kind of thing. And so then Del Toro's the one that said, why don't you do a crime movie? Why don't you write something else? And so that's kind of where this came from. And so McQuarrie took like basically like every taboo that in movies or something like that you see or in stories that you shouldn't do, and he tried to put it in the movie. The whole thing at the beginning with the fight, punching the woman. Yep. Excuse me. So Del Toro was in the beginning of this process in terms of like inspiring McQuarrie to start to go and to kind of get stuff going, and then kind of being part of it. So so I think I can understand his input being like, him taking it, McQuarrie. Sure, yeah. I'm not going to call him McHugh. I know that everyone calls him McHugh. So
you call him McHugh.
So everyone, so him taking that information, I get that. But the script itself, and this, this is the Christopher McQuarrie I want. I think Mission Impossible 4, 5, and 6, we've talked about this before, are a really solid trilogy. And
they are.
And 5 and 6 are good and strong. 7 and 8 are lacking. And Mike joked about how they
don't have a script. They just go off so we see their pants.
Which is not great. I don't like that at all. But like this is the type of film, like I want to see more of this type of film.
Yeah.
Not so much the crime, but just like this, like there's actually a script that we're focusing on. And
it's story.
right.
It's absolutely. I mean, you're not going to get that though. Now he's too big and no one writes scripts. No one follows the script in Hollywood anymore.
And I get that. And the note I just talked about how, nobody wants to make, you don't want to make your movie. They want to make their movie. I think at some point you just like, do I want to work in this business or not? I'm just going to have to work with what I can do. And I get, I completely get that. There are only a few Spielbergs and Scorseses and even like Paul Thomas Anderson. There's only a few directors or even Ryan Coogler that get to do what they want to do. Everyone else is almost like you're not at that level. So
the director of Weapons was just talking about that.
Yes.
He was just talking about how I started by writing my own film and that's how I got my first job. And then I got my second job. I wrote my own film and now I'm writing my own film again. And my agent was like, we have some scripts for you. And I said, why?
Yeah.
If I'm at the level, I'm lucky enough to be like, no, I have stories that I can tell and people are buying them. Why would I do someone else's work?
Exactly.
But that he said, like, I'm incredibly lucky to be in that position.
Well, I think you open the door. Like once you do one, you open that door. Like, oh, he can play ball. Let's just dump this on him. Let's just dump this on him. And he's also in a genre that he can get away with. Like the horror genre is very
promotes like not auteurs, but like creativity.
I think you're able to do more in that genre. You're given it's almost like a subconscious latitude in terms of what you're doing. So and he's got that luxury, and he can always like if he went off and did something like let's say he went off and did a big screen Marvel movie and it tanked out, he could just go back to writing his own stories. Yeah. So that's great, and that's great. That's what everybody wants. I think that's what every most filmmakers, most storytellers want to do. They want to tell their stories.
Writer directors for sure. Yeah.
100%. So I think when you get into a situation like McQuarrie's, because coming up, I mean, Usual Suspects he wrote, he didn't direct. Obviously that was Bryan Singer. So, it's tough to kind of like, you may know you have the chops to be a director, but you have to still show it.
Just writing Usual Suspects isn't proving anything. Yeah.
No. And he talks about with this film, like this is his first directed film. He learned a lot of stuff on this film. He had to understand like the
hours of film you burn because he had certain feet of film.
He was only allowed, there was some kind of allowance for 6,500 rolls of film or something.
Some like number of film. And he did like a quarter of that in one scene.
But I was in
hotel and he cut it all out.
Right. And I talked about at the beginning of this episode, how my opinion had changed from like I was that 20-year-old, 25-year-old in 2000 when I watched this film, and I loved like all the action. I liked the dialogue. I liked all that. I still like that now, but I think I really like the setups and the scenes and just like when they kidnap her and it goes wrong and then they go outside and just this huge shootout. You don't hear it. You just hear it. You don't see it going on. The stuff at the motel, the ending. There's a lot of really solid filmmaking in this film. And it felt very much like I was watching a protege of the Coen brothers. It felt very, it felt like that kind of film. It felt like its own movie. It felt like I was watching something that, yes, I could go watch other films and be like, oh, that's just like Way of the Gun. Oh, that's just like this. The music, the style, the framing, the shots. Like there are so many shots of two people talking and then you see like it pans over and you see someone else listening. Just all that stuff. Like I was like really impressed with the filmmaking of the movie. James Caan, the performances, the writing. Like I really like this film more so than I did before, not just on the flash and the pan stuff in 2000 with all the shootout stuff like that, but just the detail and the filmmaking aspect of the movie. I really was into, and I really like this film. It kind of like went up a little bit for me just in that regard. Like I think I was too young to appreciate the conversations between Parker and Longbaugh sometimes, or especially the James Caan stuff. Like we watched Thief, and I know we love Thief, and I feel like in this film, like when you get older, we talk about it all the time. You some stuff is a job. You're just doing it for the money. I feel like when James Caan and I'm speaking for somebody, I don't if he felt this way. Obviously, he is no longer with us, but I feel like he got the script for this. He's like, I know this. I can do this. Like, this is something I know.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean? And he's so reserved and so calm and quiet. Like, it's just different from like a lot of Caan's performances later in his career.
It's like the anti-Thief for sure.
Yeah, but it's definitely different. I love that when the bagmen show up at the end, it's just all these old Survivor guys. I love that because that's like, those would be his friends and those would be the guys that would show up. And it's just, and I love when they see and they're like Bagman. They're like, ugh, Bagman. Like, like stuff like that. So I really dug a lot of this film, more so, and just kind of like seeing it from a different perspective, much an older. So that's kind of like where my take was on that.
Oh, it's really interesting because I thought your take was going to be like that. When you were like, yeah, I thought differently. I was like, oh, so he doesn't like it as much.
No.
But now you've surprised me with a twist. You like it more.
I'm watching it.
You Kaiser Soze me.
I'm just watching it, and like with every scene, and it's such a simple story too, and it's two guys that like luck into this thing.
Oh yeah, they had they had no idea who it was. Like Chittick, who?
Right.
You guys don't know who you just took.
And even though they're partners, they still kind of don't trust each other.
They're two bad guys. Why would you?
Right. They're
good.
They're killers, like you say. Like they're like we always talk about in movies. We like define your character, define your villains, define your characters. They're clearly defined. They don't care about whatever it is they do.
Yes, they have no morals, no scruples, really. Although I guess Parker has a little bit of a scruple.
Well, I think he gets that.
He gets there,
but it's,
and you do learn a little bit about them. You learn that not third B, Longbow. You learn that Longbow was a bagman.
Yeah,
and you learn that Parker, when he was coming up, got out of a stint for larceny or grand theft or something.
Yep.
And by a lawyer trying to hire him to kill or beat the crap out of some pedophile.
Mm-hmm.
And like, okay, so you do get a little bit of their past. So like he says, oh, we don't need character backstory, but you do get a little bit of that, but through the natural progression of the film.
Yeah. Do you think that Del Toro's hair is graying here, or he purposely dyed it gray? Like, I
think it's dyed, because at first I was like, oh, he's got a little bit of gray. He must have grayed early, and then like it gets really gray, and then it goes down. So I think it was sprayed.
Just to kind of give him like he's older. Like then
older or stressed, or like, hey, that's kind of like gotten him. But he's he seems like he's been in the game longer than Parker.
Okay.
I love the note that apparently originally, when Parker jumps into the fountain, he's supposed to have a long coat on during that fight.
Yes.
So when he jumped, it was just gonna be like, oh, blood in the coat and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And he was like, no, I don't want to wear a coat in the scene.
It was hot.
It was like hot, so I don't want to wear a coat. And he was like concerned because he didn't think the practical effects would be really good.
Right.
And I think like he was happy he chose not to wear the coat. So was I. I was like, that scene is awesome, and I think it's so much more effective to see that glass on him.
Yeah.
Because when he's in there and he's like, ah, and he's like crying, like pulling out that thing, the bottle. That's when you know the stakes are really high, because now he's shot. Now he's got the glass in his arm, and now you can believe, I don't think these guys are getting out of here.
Yeah, and especially if you look back at the history that's shot at the same location, the shot Butch Cassidy, Sundance Kid's final scene. So I thought that was really cool too. That really, and obviously the Parker Longbow. I like the Butch Cassidy and Sundance kind of references and stuff like that. I think that's great, and the firefight's really good. It's visceral, it's real, it's loud, it's. You know what I mean? It's really well done.
They keep track of all the bullets except for the last shot where they kill the last bagman, where they unload like 8 million bullets.
Right.
But I love the fact that, because as I read that note after the fact, but as I'm watching, I go, they're reloading a lot. It's not like, it's very realistic where it's not like a machine gun. Like we're recording this a day after Christmas. I watched Die Hard yesterday, and like those machine guns go off like for forever before they change a clip. And it's like, in reality, it's I'm done. Yeah. And in this movie, it's the same way. And they're taking the clip out, they're moving the slides, they're treating it like real gunplay, which, because Christopher McQuarrie's brother or his cousin,
his brother was a U.S. Navy SEAL. And he was a technical advisor for the gunfight. He also like the scene where they try to kidnap Robin, and that fails, and they're like, clearly they start backing up. That's all from him.
That's so good.
Yeah.
When they started doing that, I was like, oh man, that's so clever. That's really good.
Yeah, it's and
the angles when he's talking to James Caan.
Yes.
He keeps himself always at a canted angle.
Yep. I mean, that stuff is, if you don't realize it, you can't appreciate it a little bit, you know?
Right.
I mean? But like when you see when you watch all these other movies and you see all this stuff and you see it not done right, and then you see it, it's like, I think you can appreciate it a little more. You do see it a lot of times in like movies like that take place during a wartime and stuff like that.
Right.
All that stuff. You kind of like, that's something that's almost inherently like, oh, that's how they are. So you're not gonna.
You expect that, yeah. If you don't see that, you get mad.
But when you're out in civilization, when you got two guys that are, bad guys, but they just clearly have tactical skills. Yes. Yeah.
You can't be a successful bad guy and not have some kind of experience and like know-how.
Right.
And that's great that these guys do.
Mm-hmm. How about the note that they couldn't afford breakaway glass.
Oh, so he's actually breaking the glass?
So that glass in the glass that when he steals the car and Del Toro's stealing the car, he has a screwdriver in his arm. So when he's hitting it like 3 times, he's trying to break the glass with the screwdriver, and he finally does. I thought that was awesome.
That's cool.
That's some like $8.5 million budget. Like that's some indie film stuff that you love to see.
Oh yeah.
I mean that's just what I got you. But let me get you some reviews.
Oh no.
Yes.
That sounds bad.
Your old pal Ebert. McQuarrie pulls, pummels, and pushes us, makes his characters jump through hoops, and at the end produces carloads of bagmen who have no other function than to pop up and be shot at. Enough already. He did not like this film.
I mean, that's another bad take from Ebert. I don't. Yeah, you want me to keep pooping on a dead guy, and I will. I mean, his takes are wrong. He has not like this be all and say like this is a good movie, and that's like you're gonna comment on one last scene as like your entire opinion of the movie was that there's too many bagmen. Enough already. Like there were so many action set pieces. Yeah. It's not like there's like two set pieces.
Well,
maybe
the opening.
But like I said, you said you don't even see the opening.
No, I meant, you don't. You just see the aftermath. Like, they have one woman just face down. Like, who? What happened to her?
Apparently, I read it in the notes, but I didn't see it on the screen. There's a husband crying because his wife's dead in a car. Like, they just take people out.
Yes, which I love. I mean, not that I love,
but it just shows the characters. The characters. Like, oh, okay, these guys really don't care.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, exactly. Do you like Jeffers and I'll get back to the thing because I want to talk about the bagman, but do you like Jeffers and Obex? Do you like their characters?
Yeah.
Like just like that whole dynamic of they work for Chittick. They don't really care about his son. He craps on the painter, the doctor, like,
yeah. And then they want
do you like all that stuff?
I do. I do. I like it. And I like that they use that because Parker and I'm still going to say third.
Longbow.
My God. Parker and Longbow talk about like, oh, they use fake words like this and that. And like, they go through like 5 or 6 words. And then when they're talking, that's all they talk. Yeah. They talk like these like almost like finance bros, like they have their own little language. Like, we got this, we got to adjudicate this, and like all that kind of stuff. But I think it's good because they're just like bad people, but also stooges. Mm-hmm. I thought that was well played.
Like they think they're
above everybody. Yeah. And they're getting played by everybody.
Yeah. So back to the bagman. We talked about back to the Ebert quote. We talked about how we love that he would show up with the bagman. Like, I just said like 10
all
minutes
the survivors,
ago.
everybody he knew.
I feel like, well, not critics, but everybody. Like, I think it's hard for people to understand that we're being told a story, and if you don't understand the elements of the story, then you immediately turn to it should be like this, it should be like that. And we always talk about all the time on this show that. Sometimes sometimes it just doesn't work for us. We don't connect with it, or we just don't. Yeah. But I thought Way of the Gun and the script and the characters and the story did a really good job of giving us this is the story. These are the people. This is how they act.
For sure.
Exactly. So when James Caan talks about, when they talk about bagmen, because there's a conversation about bagmen throughout the movie, just about who they are and what type of people they're survivors and stuff like that. So when those 10 guys show up at the end, that makes perfect sense. I wouldn't think anything of it if they never had those conversations. And then these guys, I'm coming at you with this crack team. We're going to come get you. And then these guys show up and be like, come on. But it makes absolute sense that they would show up like that. And and the fact that, like, I know this was a happy accident because when he shoots the first one in the foot.
Oh, yeah.
Because I guess they were having trouble with the actor being able to hide from them.
He was always exposed a little bit.
Yeah. So they played off of that. That's great. But that also makes sense too, because these guys are out of work. These guys are not in, you know what I mean? They're just not.
They got one last job for you.
Yeah, exactly. So that all makes sense. You could do a whole movie on these guys. Just that kind of, it's just a fascinating take on, like, these old survivors that are they're still bad guys. They just haven't been doing it. James Caan character Sarno calls him up and been like, I need your help. Let's go. And like,
all the middlemen basically. Right. Yeah.
So I just think that I just wanted to kind of go back to that. I got one more quote for you from Peter Stack from the San Francisco Chronicle.
Don't disappoint me, Peter.
The Way of the Gun attempts to be poetical peck and paw, but it's a pointless exercise in gun violence with characterizations so thin they vaporize, which we just talked about. That's incorrect.
This is like, I think.
And the peck and paw reference is not real. That's even McQuarrie says, like, yeah, I get it because it's a shootout. It's in the West.
Sure.
Yeah, that's Peckinpah's thing. That's not what we're doing.
I think what he's saying is the characters are because he wants characters that are are flawed in ways where they're redeemable or they're good or there's some kind of soul within them.
Right.
That whole not every villain is a bad guy, which I completely disagree with, and I've talked about on the show a bunch of times, like how much I hate these new movies that are coming out redeeming villains. There are bad people in this world.
Sure.
And sometimes you can follow a movie with a bad person because the story and the plot is about this bad person with their goals and how they're trying to achieve it and the ups and downs and what they're going through. And it could be from the villain's point of view. It doesn't have to be from a good guy's point of view and still tell a story. It's not maybe not the story you want.
You always talk about Cruella.
But it's there. Cruella and Mufasa with Scar being like now, oh, he was actually the rightful king and like bullshit. No, like these are bad people. There's not always good people in the world. And not everyone has to be redeemable or have some villain arc, and Wicked as well. Not every bad guy is good. Yeah. Some bad guys are bad. And these two guys are terrible people. But we're following them. That's the plot of this movie.
Right. And if you read some of the comments from McQuarrie, he talks about how if you pay attention, the hero, not the hero, but the person that is I guess the protagonist, I guess hero, I don't know, is Painter, is the doctor. The doctor's the one that has the moral center. And if you
he's going through some stuff.
And if you pay attention to the dialogue, and I think specifically is when he's talking to his father, because his father's like, oh, I built you out of Baltimore for this nonsense. You know,
they talk about Baltimore a lot.
And he says to him, he's like, I don't believe that one event should shape a man's life for the rest of it. Like should shape how you
because even Chittick is like not necessarily an actual bad guy. Well, he's a middleman himself.
He money launders for really cartels, mob, that kind of stuff.
He's a bad guy, but he basically works for bad guys, and he didn't want his son get wrapped up in it.
Right.
He's like, I'm glad you have a moral center and stuff like that.
Right.
But you get like hints of Baltimore, like he was aborting babies or something. I guess
something like that. This is obviously in 2000, so something where he got himself in trouble.
Yeah. But yeah, and he's the one that goes through a change and learns stuff. But Parker and
Longbow. How do you not know this guy's name?
I don't know what's going on with this. Parker and Longbow though go through a change because they realize it's not worth it. Let her have the baby. Like they see all like the stuff she's going through, so they have a little change.
But
the main change is Parker.
But also Longbow's is
repeaters. Or
the beginning of the movie, they talk about how they stopped wanting to do Penny Ante stuff. They're trying to go for the big score, so they stepped out and try to make their way rather than just work for other people, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, but this is like they have to go after the money, like the $15 million. Like this is the road to that. So Longbow's.
Oh, that's what Longbow says. Yeah,
like this is what
it's never coming again.
We're gonna die here. Like, but if on the off, there's like a 1% chance we won't. We still have to take it because this is why we did this.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're already stuck. You already started it. They're not gonna let you go.
Right.
That's not how these people operate.
Absolutely. So then, who would you recommend this to?
I would recommend this to a lot of people. I think the action sequences, like you said, they're visceral. I think is a good way to describe them. I think it's interestingly done. You don't see a lot of bad guys with tactics, like I said. I think the characters are really interesting. You don't follow a movie with straight up bad guys.
Right.
And it's very interesting to follow a movie with straight up bad guys. I mean, I know a lot of Wild West things did, but like I said, Butch Cassidy is probably the one where they're the biggest bad guys in the film as your heroes of a lot of West.
So charismatic.
But they're so charismatic, and they really try to make them heroes of their own movie. Whereas Parker and Longbow are not heroes at all.
Well, and also, and to Butch Cassidy, the Sundance Kid in the West, you had those those West villains or people that lived outside the law because the law was corrupt, or they were just
sure
they don't want to be told how to live their life,
or is it The Man with No Name, where he's a bad guy but he's going after other bad guys who betrayed him.
Yes.
So it's like those movies. Yes, you're following a bad guy, but he doesn't do bad things because he's always going after worse people in the movie.
Right.
So
he's a vigilante at times. Yeah.
Like,
because
not by choice.
There's either no law, or the law is corrupt, or the law is owned by the richest guy, and like that's.
Or the worst people took his money and left him for dead, so now he's going to get them back.
Exactly.
Whereas these guys are going after an innocent lady and her baby.
Right.
And it's very interesting. The dialogue, while sometimes a little like cheesy, there's some great lines. It's a fantastic acting by everybody involved. Like we didn't even talk about like Juliette Lewis is really good in this movie.
She is
like as a woman, like on the edge, just like she goes through some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a really solid movie, filmmaking wise, script wise, acting wise, shootout, like action wise. It's just really, really good. And even though it's 2 hours, it feels like an hour. It feels like an hour and a half. It just goes. It really moves. And even like the supporting character, like Abner's got some great stuff. I love when he's dying in the car.
Yeah.
Remember that time? I'm dying. Yeah. Hey, can you do me a favor? Can you leave? I'd like to be alone right now.
Yeah.
So like it's some great stuff. So I think I would recommend this to everybody. And if you didn't like it, I'd be interested to know why somebody didn't like it. Because I really like it, but I wouldn't be hurt by it. But I think I would recommend it to everyone. Give it a try.
There's not a lot of what movie would you say that's out maybe within the last 5 years that was like this film?
Nothing.
Exactly.
Nothing.
This film is 2000. So like I said, I talked about how it's much like a Coen Brothers film, but it's like a Coen Brothers film from the 90s, like those, like a Raising Arizona, even though it's a comedy. But like those type of films, like there's not a, like even like Red Rock West, Last Seduction, like this stuff that we've talked about, these type of noir. This is not really noir, but it's kind of borders on that edge.
Well, like Red Rock, like following shadier, more or less shady people, which Fargo does as well.
Yeah.
A little bit.
So like, but this kind of story is either, I think you can probably find examples of them in the last 5 years, maybe the last 10 years, but they're more stylized. They're focused more on, I guess, the wrong thing. They're not the story in terms of the way it's told is different. And I think maybe that's kind of what we can get into Forgotten a little bit, like why it's forgotten, but I think that's part of it. But also when you recommend it to somebody and they don't catch on with it, I think it's because it's a story they have not seen in the last 20, 25 years.
Sure.
So, and it would be nice to kind of, I think about Del Toro saying less is more. And I've talked about this before, like all these big time directors like Spielberg. I'll just use him as an example. You know, he's got Disclosure Day coming out. I'm sure that film cost $80 million to make, $100 million to make.
I think less. I think you're right at 80.
Like, here's 10 million. Go make a movie. Just for 10. Can't go over 10. Like, I would really love
just challenge
like this. Like,
you've brought it up before.
I'd really love this like backroom challenge where you have 10 of the best big time studio directors that do these big films. And you're like, here's 10 million. Go make your movie. You don't get any. You get nothing more for it. Go make your movie for $10 million. I'd really love to see what they come up with. Because I believe they are talented to come up with something that is great. Because I think when you don't have the money, that's when the creativity comes. And I think with this type of film, that's why I like this film quite a bit, is because all I see on screen is creativity. I see we're doing what we can. I'm seeing stuff that's like focusing on story and character and just, I mean, great. You have James Caan in there just acting the hell out of us, out of a supporting role, like to the point, like, why does he not get more notice in this film? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that kind of thing. Like, why are people not talking about his performance in Way of the Gun? It's that good. Like, just show that scene in the cafe. Like, you could just show that scene, because even Del Toro is fantastic as well. I mean, he has his own style, but his style matches up with Caan's style
so well with this.
It's such a great scene. It's almost like a scene you want to do sides for when you're doing auditions. Like, that's how good it is.
The scene in the interrogation room was like, I was just like, yeah, that's his character. That's so good.
And like, that's why Mission Impossible 5 and 6 are good. I won't talk about 7 and 8 because that's not, but that's what I'm saying. Like, that stuff. So that stuff to me, I think, is just, we don't have that as much anymore, or we're not seeing it. Maybe that's the case, but it's not being promoted as much, or maybe we're just missing it. Go into why maybe it's forgotten. Maybe that's part of it, but what other reasons would you have?
I think the fact that it follows two bad people, it's not like you don't want to watch it. Not like I don't want to watch it, but I think that it turned some people off. It clearly turned those critics off. Ebert and what's his face. That's right. What's his face? Enjoy that.
I'll get you his name. Jesus.
Couldn't remember Willoughby's name. I'm not
Peter Stack.
Peter Stack.
Mr. Stack.
I mean, it's not streaming, which always hurts. It's Benicio del Toro is a famous actor, but he's not like killing it. People aren't going like rushing to see a del Toro movie. Ryan Phillippe, he kind of like petered out after like.
I think he just kind of I mean, I don't think he took a bad turn. I think
he still does stuff. Yeah. So I think
awesome
that's
in
it.
MacGruber.
What's up?
That's awesome in MacGruber.
He's in MacGruber. So I think that's why it's kind of forgotten. It kind of petered out. It's a smaller film. Other films came out. It was when did this come out?
2000
September. I think if this was an August film, I think it would have done better. September is a dump month. Even back in then, I think it's just like that's where films go to die. September and January.
Sure.
So I think that's probably why it was forgotten, and I think more people should watch it.
Awesome.
Do you agree?
I completely agree. Definitely watch this film. It's really good. Like, it's just really, really good. That's my professional take. Where can they find us?
You can find us at ForgottenCinemaPodcast.com or wherever you get your podcast. You're watching, listening to us right now. Rate, comment, subscribe. What's your favorite bad guy following movie where the bad guys are bad guys? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoy Forgotten Cinema, we've got a new show every Wednesday. We've got our lead up series. We've got our now showing series. I don't remember when this comes out, so I'm sure we're doing something though. You go to Forgotten Cinema Patreon /Forgotten Cinema. We've got exclusive episodes for you there. We've got Discord access. We've got fun stuff. I don't know what we have. We're changing up a little bit, but we got stuff on Patreon, or just follow us for free on there to keep up with all that crap we're doing. Like Field said, we do too much research ourselves then, but we do a lot of stuff. And that's what I got.
All right, and then join us next week as we're going to go play in some cars, some Texas Hold'em for Rounders, starring Matt Damon, Edward Norton, directed by John Dahl. So that should be fun. Until then, I'm Mike Field.
I'm Mike Butler.
And this has been Forgotten Cinema.